Today we have the return of our good friend and one of the greatest fighters of all time, Captain Hook, Superman in the building, Mr. Roy Jones Jr., here talking about his new signing with Celebrity Boxing and his upcoming exhibition everybody's talking about. Let's do this. Superman's in the building.
Roy Jones in the building.
What up?
Superman, what's going on, Roy? So what's up?
What's going on?
How you feeling?
Taking it easy. What's going on with y'all? I'm feeling good. How y'all doing?
We good, man. I've been getting hit up left and right about this new this celebrity boxing thing you got going on.
Yeah, it's a metaverse type thing though. It's not a contact thing. It's like we both putting on suits, going in separate rooms with a green room, and we're gonna bang it out like that. You know what I mean? It's not like no hand-to-hand combat. So people getting it confused.
Oh,
it's not a hand-to-hand combat.
Okay.
Metaverse type thing. We're going with a suit, and he'll have a suit, I have a suit, and they'll put us in the ring together. But we'll be fighting from our own green rooms, and it's the first one like that was a competition like that.
Oh, okay. Well,
you're talking about you have a suit on with all those little patches and little like
sensor.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. To request specific fighters to be interviewed, to request specific fights you want analyzed on Box Analysis, please guys subscribe and follow to our YouTube channel, and we're gonna make it happen. Peace. Well, so let me ask you this then: is any exhibitions possible for you, or are you done?
I think I'm pretty much done, but I ain't trying to really do no exhibitions. I don't think they got enough money to pay me for no exhibitions. Take too much to get in shape. You feel me? I mean, the only thing that could happen, like I said, if Anderson Silva was lucky enough to I may entertain that if the money was right. But I don't really think they got enough money to really make me entertain that.
You cut out for a second, Roy. You said Anderson Silva?
If I'm going up. That's it.
Yeah,
If he beat Jake Paul, I may entertain that. But yeah, I said if Anderson Silva beat Jake Paul, I may entertain that, but that's about it.
Would you, or why him? Just because back in the day he called you out?
That's all. Just called back in the day. He been saying that for so long. So if he beat Jake Paul, it could happen, you know.
Do you think he's gonna beat Jake Paul? How do you see that going?
I don't know. I think it's a tough fight. It bothered me the fact that he said he got knocked out 2 times in sparring. So if you got knocked out 2 times in sparring, I mean that kind of puts you in a bad situation. But at the same time, before that, I thought he would give Jake Paul problems because he has boxed. He was able to go in and give Chavez problems.
Yeah.
And Chavez wasn't the best boxer, but he had a lot of experience. He was a former world champion. And Anderson beat him pretty easily. So with that being said, I was at first seeing it pretty much difficult for Jake to be able to catch him because he's very elusive. He's always been very elusive. And he's a tall southpaw, which some Jake hasn't fought yet. So I thought he was going to be a problem. But after hearing that he got knocked out twice in training camp, if you get knocked out twice, everybody in boxing knows once you get knocked out once or twice, it ain't hard to take you out again. You feel me? So
you get let me ask you, why do you think that is? Do you think it's psychological? Do you think it's like a physical thing? How come if somebody gets knocked out, why do you think it's easier for it to happen again?
I think it's kind of psychological too, because once you conceive in your head that it can happen, it's kind of hard for it to not happen again. Before it happens, nobody believes that they can really be knocked out. But when it happens, you be like, oh crap, that can't happen to me, you know? And so it's easier to succumb to it. But at the same time, you have to get back up and go back and face it and deal with this on the way to get around it. But when it's before a big fight, you got to do something to your confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
You say you agree, Jeremy?
I completely agree. Once you get touched, man, it's hard to come back from that.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, so tell me, Roy, about the Pro Box TV thing. You're one of the partners in that, right? He's freezing up again.
Right now, I'm somewhat of We still in negotiations with it. If everything works out, then you partner. But if we don't negotiate, what happened is it started out really good. I really enjoyed it, and like I'm the kind of person, you know me, I love boxing, so I'm gonna try to do all I can to help anybody doing something good for boxing. He's doing a great channel for boxing, so I would love to try to help him out with that situation. But at the same time, if the deal is not what I want, I'm not going to just sign on any deal just because you're trying to do something for boxing. I'm not going to hurt myself, but I do like it, and I would like to help change boxing. And if that seems to be the way to go, it's a good thing. But the deal has to be right. If the deal ain't right, I'm not going to do it.
Right, right. Yeah. I mean, so I was having this conversation right recently. We were talking about the greatest, what people's criteria are for the greatest fighter ever, right? And my criteria is in their prime, how they performed, right? And the skill they had in the ring. I don't look at what fighters did outside the ring. So I'm bringing this up is because obviously I always say, to me, that was you. And people say, well, Floyd Mayweather never lost. How could he be, how could Roy be better than Floyd? And I have to explain to people that skill is like when you see somebody who's like a Corvette in a sea of Hondas, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. So like when you look at a fighter, do you look at what they do outside the ring and in the ring, everything? Or do you just look at what they do in the ring?
In the ring. That's where the fighters fought at, in the ring.
Right. Right. I mean, so I also look at do you look at the whole career or do you look at just the prime?
The prime. The prime is where it should count it. And the prime is because, like right now, we got Errol Spence and Bud Crawford in the prime, and we can't get them in the ring together. So when we had, like, for instance, and there's no knock on nobody. People do what they want to do, and I understand why they do it. But it's like, to me, like, when the time for the Pacquiao Mayweather fight to happen, it happened to 5 years later. Because prime Pacquiao was 5 years before that. After he got knocked out by Marquez, that shouldn't count as a. And people don't look at the old school way. But that's just how I was raised. If I waited till James Toney got beat by somebody for real, got knocked out, which he never did, but if I waited for James Toney to get beat by somebody that then fought him, it don't mean the same as when I fought him when he was undefeated. You feel me? Which is why I want to fight him when he was undefeated. I want to fight. We both were undefeated. Now, in my own mind, did I think Dave Tiberius beat him? I thought Dave Tiberius should have got the decision, but he didn't. But James was the man. So if you didn't dominate James, you probably won't get no decision. So that just made me put me on higher notice that if I fight James, I got to dominate James or I might not get the decision. You feel me? So that's just what it was. But I believe in fighting James after somebody else goes out and takes him completely out or completely dominates him. Then I fight him. I haven't done anything. I didn't break the code. You feel me?
Right.
You break the code when you fight somebody. You understand where I'm coming from? So that's different to me.
When you fought Tony, you did something very few people could do. I mean, you broke down his defense, which nobody could really do. You were able to break it down, and because I know you had speed, power, but this, right? This is, I think, underrated. And can you explain how technical you really are? Because people don't give you enough credit for how technical you were. You there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Now I hear you. What'd you say?
Oh, I said, can you explain a little bit like how technical you really were? Because enough people understand or give you credit for that.
Well, people, I forgot more than most of those guys ever learned. Like, what people don't know about me, that they really don't understand about me, is the shoulder roll. I know how to fight all those styles. I know how to do all of that. I just didn't choose to do them because I chose to use my feet because I was more of a Muhammad Ali type guy. I like the Muhammad Ali way of doing things, so I went to that side of boxing. But I had more physical skill because I learned more. I learned from all those guys. So I had to learn more because I learned from Sugar Ray. I learned from Roberto Duran. I learned from Aaron Pryor. I learned from Lex Aguero. I learned from Muhammad Ali. I learned from Marvin Hagler. I learned from Salvador Sanchez. I learned from that whole plethora of Tommy Hearns. I learned from that whole plethora of guys. So I put together.
Reception's going out again. I don't know if you could hear me.
So, you feel me? I forgot more than most of those guys ever learned. Yeah. I forgot more than most of those guys ever learned. But people don't give me credit for that.
You cut out for a little bit of that, Roy. Your reception's going in and out still. But yeah. I mean, shit. I think so you had told me once that James Toney was your toughest fight, correct?
Yeah, he was, because he was the best. He was the best boxer that I probably ever fought as far as a pound-for-pound boxer goes. He had everything. He had speed, he had power, he had defense, he had offense. He had the whole package. And he was undefeated at the same time.
And had double the amount of fights you did, if I remember correctly.
It had double the amount of fights and had all those guys in the UK scared to even think about coming over here fighting him.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and I remember, one thing you did with James, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you kept spinning to his right because you knew that the way his defense would go, you would go around him and you'd always be on his vulnerable side. And you did that all fight long.
And that's how you had to do the shoulder roll. If you don't do it that way, you're not going to beat it. You stay right in front of him with that shoulder roll, he's going to beat you. But I understood that. So that's why I say, technically, I forgot more than most of these guys ever learned. I knew how to do it all, which is why I knew how to beat it all, because I knew how to do it all.
Mm-hmm. 100% agree.
Yeah, I mean, so after Tony, that was kind of your coming out, right? I feel like in boxing where people knew that you were for real. I mean, do you agree?
Right.
Do you think that was your first huge fight, or do you think that was a different one?
That was not my first huge fight, because after beating him, you beat the pound-for-pound best, because I wanted to prove that I was the best. You feel me?
Yep. And then after you beat, so what would you say to Tony? What was your second, really defining fight? Freezing up again.
Yeah, I know. Definitely want to ask him.
Probably when I came back and come back and beat Montel Griffin.
You cut out again. The second Griffin fight?
Sosa.
You cut out again. Oh, Murky Sosa? Say it again. You cut out.
I said Murky Sosa. Murky Sosa was the hardest punching not nigga dude I've ever seen in my life as far as pound for pound went. Murky Sosa was one hard puncher.
What did you say about your defining fight? Because you cut out for the whole time.
I said probably the second Montel Griffin fight.
Okay. And in that first Montel Griffin fight, what do you think about him gave you, why you were having a harder time than you thought you would have?
I always go back to it because everybody always talk about it ahead of time, mention it. But it's not. I like Montel Griffin. Montel's a good dude, okay? But you got to think about this. When I fought Montel, we both counter. So you know my song coming into the fight? Patience is the virtue. Right. Why? Because we're both punchers. So whoever can wait, all I got to do is wait him out, let him wear himself down, which he did, then he's done. I told my coach, I said he's going to quit. He's tired. He's going to quit. And sure enough, when he went down to one knee, I didn't hit him. That's why I didn't know one for sure he was going down, quitting up. What he was doing? I didn't hit him, knocking out. The pressure made him go down on one knee. He just took a knee because he was tired. Yeah. He was hurting and he was tired. So I didn't know what he was doing. He was 5'7", 5'6", 5'7". I don't know you going down, so all the referee, but the referee got to tell me stop. Yeah. Because at this point, I got the pressure on high. The referee got to say stop. The referee said stop. I don't know that punch. But the referee didn't say stop. So I kept going. I know he quitting, but I don't know what he going to try to do. He been doing stuff to me all night that he wasn't supposed to be doing. I told my coach, leave him alone. Let him do whatever he feel like he got to do to win. Does that sound like somebody that's worried? Does that sound like somebody that's having a hard time? when I made the song, patience is the virtue before the fight happened. Coach, leave him alone. Don't even say that to the referee. Let him do whatever let him do whatever he got to do. I want him at.
What was he doing? Like what were the things he was
All
tactic?
kind of stuff. All kind of stuff. My coach was getting frustrated about him hitting behind the head, all kind of stuff. He was doing all kind of stuff. I kept telling my coach, look, hush, leave the referee alone. Let him do whatever he need to do. Shush. Don't complain. Let him do what he got to do to feel comfortable. I want him comfortable because I don't want no excuse. Then I don't want no excuse anyway because the referee. But that's just who I was. Now people say, go back and listen to it. The song title coming into the fight was Patience is the Virtue. Why is patience the virtue? Because there's two counter punchers. Neither one want to give in to the other, so you just gotta wait him out. He's a counter puncher.
Right.
Now, not that in there bulldog second time, because I could do that too. I'm trying to do. I just want to
You
box.
did.
You feel me? And I knew that boxer. He's a really good boxer. I gave James Tony because he's a good counter puncher. Montel was no bum by a long shot. He's no. The kid can fight. It's not. I'm not. That's not. I'm not. Never taking that. Montel can fight, but he's a counterpuncher, short counterpuncher. He's not gonna beat me. You feel me? That's why I said patience is the virtue. It's not early, but because he's a counterpuncher, I'm gonna wait him out because that's what he is. But he's a good counterpuncher.
So do you think that if you would have went right at him the first fight, it would have been the same outcome?
Of course, it would have been. I never had been because I was trying to box you like I'll just take you out. And that's what my plan was. I said, pay. But at the end, got all messed up. Very loud.
Jeremy, do you have your window down?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Everything's up.
You there? Can you hear us, Roy?
Hey, he was breaking up the whole time.
Yeah, I hear you now.
So that's why I stayed quiet.
Yeah, it was breaking up.
I hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. So you were saying that he was a counterpuncher, right? So you kind of in that fight almost chose, if I remember correctly, to challenge yourself to like counter his counters and make it more of a chess match than it really had to be, right?
That's why I said patience is the virtue. That's why I was going to fight the fight. I was going to wait him out because he was a good fighter. He's a very good counterpuncher. He had beat James Tony twice. I mean, he's a very good counterpuncher. Not saying nothing against him, but I was going to prove that I could out-counter the counterpuncher because that's who I was. I counted myself and beat you at your fight. So I said patience is the virtue. I got to have patience and beat you at your fight.
Right.
But that didn't turn out to my so second time I just had to go do what I had to go do.
Yeah, second time I never saw you just like that. Like you were even holding your hands different. You were just going forward. There was no playing, no dancing, no nothing.
Because everybody was acting like he make a song called Patience is the Virtue that saying that of course it's gonna be hard because we both counterpunchers. He's a very good fighter. I'm not never telling you that he's not a good fighter. He's a very good fighter, so I gotta wait him out because he's a very good counterpuncher. He got 2 wins against James Tony. What that tell you? The man can fight. Yeah. I'm never saying the man can't fight. The man can fight. But to beat it, I got to have patience because to me, I was a better counterpuncher. So I waited him out. But like I said, at the end, it got all messed up. So, you know. But it's all good.
And the
rematch.
Say that again?
I said, but Montel Griffin is really a good fighter.
Yeah.
He's a really good fighter.
No,
I knew but he's really a good fighter. I knew it was going to be a challenging fight because... Huh?
Jeremy, you fought him 4 times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good
you know,
fighter.
Yeah, he can fight. He's definitely a master counterpuncher. You know, and obviously he got better as a
Of course,
professional.
that's why I said, and that's why I said patience is the virtue, because I know he's a very good counterpuncher. So you got to be smart with him, take your time, let him wear stuff down, then you got it. But patience was the virtue. I had to have patience. And then people
Right.
say, oh, he would give me this. How, if I tell you the song before the fight, tell you patience is the virtue, what does that tell you? You think he give me a hard time? Because, man, it's frustrating, because when you sit there and make a song telling people that you know the man will give you a hard time earlier because he can fight. It's not like he's a bum. He got 2 wins over James Toney.
Right.
This dude can fight. How many people you know got 2
Yep.
wins over James Toney? I ain't got but one of them. I ain't
No.
fighting with that, but how many people you know got 2 wins over James Toney?
Right.
The man got 2 wins over James Toney.
None.
Yeah, they were close, but he still got credit for 2 wins over James. Come on, man. The dude can fight. Give him his credit. But at the same time, give me
Right.
mine too. I said patience is virtue. That means I'm not struggling. I'm struggling because of the way I chose to fight.
Yes. Yes. And you proved that in the rematch. You know, you made that clear. So he was a great defensive fighter. Who would you say was the fastest fighter you ever fought? Who had hand speed that you would say was the fastest?
Honestly, I fought a guy early in my career named Rollin Williams. And Rollin Williams had very quick hands.
So
He had studied really well. I couldn't hardly put a glove on him to about round 4. And when I finally got a glove on him, I got him out of there because he had given me real issues all night long. And had I not been in top shape, you know, most guys on the whip, you know, with 1 loss before he could be world champ, that would have been the night I'd have had the 1 loss had I not been in shape, because Rollin Williams came there to beat me. He had everything right. He had did all his homework. He knew all my little tricks. So I had to go figure out some new tricks to get him out of there. And I did, but that was a very quick-handed dude. His name was Rollin Williams.
wow. Okay. And was it true that in a lot of your fights that you really would just not put your foot all the way on the gas? That you didn't want to hurt people? I mean, was that true?
But what? I knew so much that I didn't have to put my foot all on the gas. You understand me? So I shouldn't have to go be that serious. The only time I did, like I said, when I fought much in the second, I got disqualified. Get lost like I get knocked out. Once it happens, it's easier for it to happen because you've done it before. Once you get lost, it's easier for you to take another one because you didn't took one before. So I felt bad because they gave me an L the way they gave it to me, and I had something to prove at that point because of how I got that L. So that was the only time I really ever put my foot complete on the gas. The rest of the time, nah.
So so I remember after you fought, after you beat Ruiz, right? I remember in the interview you said, "Look, I'm going to fight Mike Tyson, or I'm not fighting anymore. I'm retiring." What was it in you that made you keep going? What made you keep going? Was it the love for the sport? You didn't know nothing else? What was it?
No, I thought Bob Fitzsimmons won the middleweight, light heavyweight title, then recaptured the light heavyweight title. I know he won the middleweight, heavyweight, then light heavyweight. I knew that, but I didn't know that he won the light heavyweight after capturing the title. So I wanted to do what he did, but I wanted to do the same thing. I want to go win the heavyweight title, then come back and recapture the light title again, which I did. But he didn't do that. He caught it the first time after winning the heavyweight title. I won it, won the heavyweight title, and then came back and regained it. So that's what I had to do. But I'm the kind of person that is that if you think somebody can beat me, I'm not going to go to sleep and not find out. You feel? So people are like, well, you know, he gave you a hard time, which he did, but it's because of the weight loss. But it's hard for me not to go back and give you another shot because that's just who I am. You understand me?
Right.
You're going to run and duck and dodge nothing. If you say I thought he gave me a hard time, I'll come back and try it again. Because that's just who I am. I was that competitive. I wanted to be the best at everything. And it's hard to lose that weight and do that. And he found that out when he had to lose that weight after doing the Rocky movie and fight Bernard Hopkins after that. He found the same thing to be true. So it was no excuse. It was the fact. But he found out the hard way. But that's how it goes. You feel me? That much weight, it's going to do something to you.
I mean, you...
Especially after 30 years old. You feel me? So
right. You clearly looked tired and not yourself in that first Tarver fight. Was that... What's that?
I was done.
Yeah, you looked exhausted.
I was done.
Yep. So was it just the weight, or do you think that also the age was catching up to you at that point?
the way that ain't, here go the thing. People tell me they never saw before. They saw me win a fight strictly on my heart, not my conditioning,
Mm-hmm.
not my boxing skills, strictly, and that's a dog. When you see one of them can win with strictly heart because they never saw me before, that shows you that's a tested dog. That dog has not been tested because he had to win a fight. He had no strength. He had no legs. He had no nothing. He won that first fight off pure heart. Pure
Hell yeah.
heart. Something he never had to
Hell
show
yeah.
in his earlier career because he was always better than everybody else, that he never had to use his heart. You understand me? But he got a chance to show y'all that he had that too, if necessary. That's why, in my opinion, you could always say he got to be one of the best because he showed he got everything. He had speed, he had the power, he had offense, he had defense. He won a complete round. First person ever to go a complete round in CompuBox history and never be hit with a punch. And a
Yeah.
good game fighter by the name as him.
Busy
So
Paz. Yep.
he had everything, but then y'all also found out that he almost dead, and he still gonna come back and fight to the finish with a heart. Y'all know that about every other guy that y'all got on the pound list? Not all of them. Y'all know about some of them, but you don't know that about all of them. So how can you go on the pound list if we don't know if you got that? Because
Yeah.
that's what it takes. Make you understand where I'm coming from? So if you don't ever have to prove that, then we don't know what you might do. What happens if you get under that stress? Do we know? No, we don't, because you never had to prove it. So that's why I always tell people, I hear you, but I don't hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so do you think if you would have lost the weight in a different way, it would have made a difference, or did losing the weight at all,
No,
just doing it in general,
it wouldn't. It wouldn't because I did it. I lost 25 pounds of muscle. When you put muscle on and take muscle off, it's a different animal. I had never done that before because you got to remember, my whole life I never even lifted weights. I had to lift weights to get up 200 pounds because I had,
Oh wow.
but I was a muscle bound 200 pounds. You feel me? Then I lost
Yeah.
all that muscle, went back down to 175. Done. And at 34, 35 years old, that's gonna weigh, that's gonna kill you. And that's what it did.
Do you
But I
think
wanted to
also
make history, so I did.
do you think also the fact that you had a lot of mileage in terms of a long amateur career, you've been fighting since you were 10, do you think all of that, because a lot of people say 35 isn't
Of
old, and
course.
I'm like, well, it depends how much you fought, right?
You've been fighting since you was 10 and you've been fighting everybody, the best of the best since you was 10. I'd be damn 35 years old, 30 years old at that point.
It is. So
And
if
you've been dominating, toting the sport on your back for 10 years. I took the sport out of Mike Tyson's hands and carried it on my back for the next 10 years. You understand me? Mike carried it up to
sure.
me, he passed it on to me, and I took it and carried it from there for the next 10 years. That's a lot of time to carry a box on your back. You feel me? And they ain't carry a box on my back, ducking and dodging. I was walking through whatever. I was walking through fire. You understand me? Whatever they bought me, I walked through it. You understand me?
Yeah.
I put it on my back and walk with it. Huh?
Yeah. You fought everybody. So if you could do something different,
I walk.
would you do anything different at the end of your career?
Well, because of the way they do it and because of the way they talk about you now, I would have said after I won that first title fight, I would have quit. And they would have called you names, but it would have been the smartest thing to do. Because nowadays, boxing has changed. It ain't about who the best number one, who could beat who. It's about just keeping yourself clean and making the most money you can. And that would have been the smarter way to do it. But I wasn't raised like that. I was raised, if it's a challenge, you take it. You don't be the best by running from challenges. And that's who I was.
Right.
So had I stopped at the beginning, after I beat the first time I stopped, I'd go down in history as the best fighter to ever fight. You understand me?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that was, but when you got it like I got it, that same thing that drove me to keep going, it's the same thing that made me be as good as I was in my prime. Because I don't sleep at night if I think somebody out there that might be able to beat me. You understand me? In my prime, if you beat me, I gotta see you. You understand me? You gotta remember, when I lost to Griffin, the first thing they said to me, what you wanna do? I said, I want a rematch. My guy said, but he gonna want all the money. You know what I told him? Give it to him. Just tell him to make sure he bring the belt with him. I don't give a damn about no money. I want to be the best. You understand me? I don't care about no money. I want to be the best. That's just who I was. So I could never be
Yeah.
some of these guys because I was different. I can't
Right.
sleep at night if I don't feel like I'm the best. You understand me? That's why in my prime, if I wasn't the best, I wasn't going to sleep at night. Anybody that was close to me that should have been, that's supposed to be good as I was, I got to see you.
Right.
That's why I had to go see James Turner. I didn't have to go to super middleweight. I could stay middleweight. And check this out. When James Turner went up and fought Iran Barkley, he had the middleweight title and the super middleweight title. They gave him 10 days to relinquish one of the titles. As soon as I signed the fight, James, they stripped me of the middleweight title. Is that right? Y'all didn't do it to him.
Wow.
But I got stripped right away. People don't know that. People don't know that. That's why I know how to make these fights happen, because I ain't telling somebody I ain't done. I done all this. Just like how with James Turner, because he was pound for pound the best, he was the man. I said, you know what? You the man. Since you give me opportunity, I know I got to sign a rematch clause. Yes, because you the man, you give me opportunity. But you do want to fight me because you know I'm pretty cold myself. So this is what we're going to do. He said, I want 55, you get 45. I got to take that because I don't have a belt in your weight class. You pound for pound the best and your weight class up. I don't have a belt in your weight class. So if I want to prove myself, I got to take that because I want to prove myself. You already proved yourself, but I think I'm better than you. But guess what? I take the 55, 45 because I don't have a title in your weight. You understand me? So you demanded that weight, and I'm coming up to you. So I'll take that. You understand me? And I signed a rematch clause because I feel like if I can beat you once, I can beat you twice.
Right.
So I had to do all that. People don't understand what I went through. You understand me?
No,
that's why people right now talk about, well, you know, he say Crawford beats Earl and he don't like Earl. No, I like Earl. I just know Crawford better. I know Crawford more personal than I know Earl. And I know Crawford ain't scared to fight nobody. I don't care what nobody tell me. He ain't scared to fight nobody, but he also not going to be stupid. And I wouldn't advise him to be stupid. You understand me? And sometimes people offer you something, it's more than one way to say no. So if somebody offers you something they know you ain't going to take, that means they don't really want to do it. You feel me? But it's more than one way to say no. You got to understand that too. So it's like for me, it ain't as hard to make fights as people think it is because I done been there, done that. So if I had to do it, I'm going to go down the same road I went down. We'll do what's necessary to a degree. But then it's going to come down to who wins and who loses. So we're going to figure out how to make it happen if I got involved because that's who I am.
Right. Yeah, you came from that school of like you will make a couple concessions. You would do whatever it takes because you know once you win that you're going to hold all the cards anyway. Right? People don't do that these days.
But I believed I was going to win. That's how serious I was. I believed by the grace of God that I was going to win. You understand me? I believed in Roy Jones Jr. These people sometimes don't believe in themselves. I believe in Roy Jones Jr. That was a fact. I believe in God first, and I believe that God blessed Roy Jones Jr. to come out here and do just what Roy Jones Jr. did. That's what I believed in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and these days now, I mean, I don't know what it is, but do you think maybe it's the promoters and the managers getting in fighters' ears these days that's kind of doing all this?
It's that too, but it's also about the money, the situation of why now it's okay to, like I said, back in my day, it would have been okay to wait until a guy get beat, then fight him. No, because then you ain't do nothing. It's like I want to play, like they don't take and say the Eastern Conference team play against the second best Western Conference team. That don't make the finals. No, the finals will be the best Eastern Conference team versus the best Western Conference team, or the best NFC versus the best AFC. You understand me? Or the best American League versus the best. They don't play the best against the second best. You understand me? Or the one that got lucky and beat it. They don't do it like that. You put the best against the best when they both at their prime.
Right.
If it ain't that, it ain't really. So nowadays we get away with not doing it. You feel where I'm coming from? And not just boxing, it's all sports to me. They are getting watered down. They don't do that. You know what I mean? Now you can't hardly touch a quarterback anymore. So how can you tell me a quarterback is better than Joe Montana when Joe Montana did this in a time when you can almost kill a quarterback if you got to him? But nowadays you touch him wrong. That's a penalty. That's a foul. You can't touch. So they're operating under different circumstances today than what these guys operated on 20 years ago.
Right.
You understand me? So you can't say they ain't the same because these guys today ain't really proven that they. Now some guys do in certain areas, certain like running backs, they still have a hard time. You know, certain ones still do, but all of them ain't the same. That's not to say that they ain't good, because I still think Tom Brady going to be close to one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. I mean, be between him and Joe Montana for me, because when I seen Joe take stuff, and I seen Tom Brady for some stuff too. And I'm not saying Tom Brady, it ain't his fault that the rules changed. He still be cool hand, Luke can still get it done. So you can't. guys I've seen go through a lot more than other people. Like today in boxing, it's changed. You know, a lot of guys get together, they be friends, they don't want to fight each other. When I came up in boxing, it wasn't no such thing as friends nowhere around my weight class. If you're my friend, you're gonna be a featherweight or a lightweight, somebody I know I never see in the ring again. Anything
Right.
above 154, you're my friend. Because I'm
Right.
champ at 160. Anything 154 and up, I don't like you. Matter of
Right.
fact, 147 and up, I don't like you. And I
Oh,
don't
How,
want to be your friend. The opportunity to come
how many
around,
times?
you understand me?
How
That's
many
just what
times?
it was.
How many times you go to 68 or 75, or were you just truly a natural 75 pounder?
I was a natural 65, 68 pounder. I just went to 75 because there wasn't no competition at 68 no more. So I went to 75 because I wanted to go where the competition was. You know, I could find competition, I could go make it. I wasn't no heavyweight, but I became heavyweight champ. Just what it was. I went and looked for wherever they found, wherever they had trouble at, wherever they had something that could look like it could be a challenge, that's where I went. That's why sometimes I even played basketball before the fight. I'm going to challenge myself one way or the other. And the guy I played basketball before the fight and beat became super middleweight champ after that and held the title for 3 years. So that wasn't no bum either.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think any fighters now, any of the current top guys, have that old school mentality?
Terrence Crawford does. Lomachenko does. But who they grew up watching?
You.
Roy Jones. It's simple.
Well,
It's simple.
what do you think?
And when you grew up watching this, they got this. Beefall got this too. Don't think he don't. Beefall want to be the best. He fight Hernandez, who 44-0. Most people don't know Hernandez. Hernandez is a beast. And Beefall, like, heck yeah, I'll take that. It's my weight class.
What do you think of Fury? You think he has that old school mentality?
Sir, he does. Without a question, he does. He fights, he'll fight all of them. He don't care. He want the best. He better believe he got it. Usyk does too. Usyk want the best too. All those, yes, those two guys have it. They do.
Do you think Usyk has a chance to beat Fury?
He got a chance because he's such a high technician. He has a chance, but you know, it's like the theory of it is usually the good big guy beats the good little guy. And I think that's true. But he definitely has a high enough IQ that if anybody could put it off, he could. Only problem I see that Usyk has with Fury, I don't think Usyk is an explosive puncher. And to beat Fury, you got to be an explosive puncher. Because
Yeah.
he's so tall and he's technical that if you're not an explosive puncher, you're going to have a hard time beating. You understand me? That's the only reason it looked good. Wilder fight, because Wilder was an explosive puncher, and Wilder put him down a couple times, but he couldn't keep him down. But that's what I'm
Right.
saying. If you're not explosive, you're not gonna beat him. Now, a person like the guy you fight now, Chisora is an explosive puncher, but he's kind of slow with it. If you're slow with it, you have a hard time hitting. Very elusive. You feel me? If you're not an explosive guy with explosive speed, you're probably not gonna hit him with that. You feel me? So it's gonna be a tough one for Chisora. It's a good fight though, because that's the kind of guy gonna take to beat him. A guy that has that kind of punching power, but you gotta be able to be explosive with it.
So what kind of fighters gave you the most problem? Like, or did you in general? Like, was it maybe tall fighters, faster fighters, stronger fighters? What was it that like challenged you the most?
I didn't like fighting tall guys because you got to give up so much to get to them. I didn't mind it, but I didn't like it because you got to give. If you fight a tall guy, you got to sacrifice something. You got to know it off the top. You fight a tall guy, you got to give up a little bit to get something. That's just off the top. I enjoyed it, but you know, for me, if you champ, it don't matter how they came. You got to take them all, and that's just what I did. I prefer. Now, I also felt like me and Jordan Foreman had something in common. A guy shorter than us, he wasn't gonna beat us. You understand me? That's just me and George had in common. Cause George won't let no short guy beat him, and neither was I. If you shorter than me, you not beat me. So that's just what it was. But
I mean, you fought Richard Frazier, wasn't he like 6'3"? He was tall.
Richard Hall. A lot of guys were way tall. Percy Harris. A lot of those guys were way taller than me, and they all was a problem because they tall.
Yeah, I mean, even Virgil Hill was he was like 6'2", right?
All of them were taller than me. Yes.
Yeah, it was way taller. But that didn't matter. So you said before you never lifted any weights. When you trained, what would you say was the most important part for you in training?
For me, shadow boxing.
Yeah. Really?
Shadow boxing.
Really?
Yeah.
So would you shadow box like a lot of rounds? Like how would you use it?
a lot of rounds, and you have to put yourself in every possible scenario you can think of on a daily basis. So if you put yourself in every scenario you can think of on a daily basis, then you have all the grounds covered. So anything I saw in the boxing ring, or anything I thought possible, as I shadow box, I dealt with it. You understand me? Wow. Every day I put myself through a different challenge in shadow boxing. So now when I see it, I done did that before in my head.
So you would basically play a virtual
every time
movie or
every time. Every time. People don't do that nowadays. Shadow boxing is one of the most underrated things in boxing today, because to really get it out of your head what you're supposed to do, you got to be able to do it same speed, game speed. And you got to do it shadow boxing, same speed, game speed. If you ain't doing same speed, game speed, you ain't doing it right.
Wow. So when you do that enough, anything you actually see in a real fight, you already kind of covered.
You already played that over in your head before. So,
Jeremy, you ever do that?
You know, I didn't. I didn't do game speed. I did not. But it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Wow, that's crazy. So Roy, what would you say?
Speed.
Yep, there you go. Game speed. That should be a T-shirt. What would you say? What age did you feel like you were at your total peak? Is there like a fight or an age that you remember being like, that was my peak?
No, I just knew that from about 25 to about 32. What wasn't to you if you came there and with me?
25 to 32.
25 to 32. Whoa, to you.
And what are you now, Roy?
I'm 53.
Oh, yeah, still young.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
And was there any specific fighter that you think you learned the most from fighting? Is there like one or no?
No, I learned the most from watching other old fighters.
Okay, so I think I've asked you this before, but who are your top 5 greatest of all time?
I don't say greatest of all time. I like to say that because people always get that confused. But the greatest of all time in my eyes is always going to be Muhammad Ali. But if you give me 5 to pick that I want to watch, I'm going to watch Muhammad Ali. I'm going to watch Muhammad Ali. I'm going to watch Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm going to watch Salvador Sanchez. I'm going to watch Roberto Duran. And I'm probably going to watch... I don't know who that 5th one might be, but they're going to be my top 4.
Okay. And is there any fighter in history that you think would have given you what? Let me rephrase it this way. I don't know. I know nobody would have beaten you in your eyes, but is there
only person that probably had a chance to really beat me in my prime, if he was in my weight, would have been Muhammad Ali. And the reason I say that is because, and I'm not ashamed to say this, I started boxing because of Muhammad Ali, right? Muhammad Ali was an old man when he came to Pensacola to do a book tour with me. And Muhammad Ali got in the ring and shadow box. Yeah, it's true. And Muhammad Ali got in that ring as old as he was, and he still got in front of me. And nobody ever got in front of me before that. Nobody ever got in front of me after that. But he's the only person that ever got in a boxing ring and mentally got ahead of me right when...
Well, and can you explain to people watching, what do you mean by get in front of you?
I mean, mentally, he came out and put the attack on me before I could put the attack on him. He had me thinking defensively before I realized the fight had started. And nobody ever does that to me. Even when you got me thinking of defensively, I got something to counter your defense with your offense with right away. So it's like when you start your defense, your offense, I already got a counter for that. I'm already 2 steps ahead of everybody. You feel me? He had me so far behind him. I was like, what the hell? How did he get in front of me like that? It just shocked me. And he was an old man at that time.
Like, how old was it, you think?
Huh?
How old was he around?
He probably was in at least was close to 70 years old.
Wow.
And he still was able to get in front of me. Wow. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, I saw that video. Yeah, you guys you bring a little bit, right?
Yeah. But you got to understand, I understood, me and him both understood what we were doing. You feel me? I understood him and he understood me. That's why I know what he was thinking. I know his mind was. You gotta know, you gotta understand boxing to know that. But that's old school.
Hey, I remember hearing you said a while back that you didn't want to visit Gerald McClellan until you retired. Did you ever end up going to visit him, or was it still too tough?
I talked to him a couple times. I talked to him once on FaceTime with his son.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hard pill to swallow, man. When you know somebody like that, it's a hard. I have a soft heart when it comes to people already, and it's very hard for me to stomach things like that. It was hard for me to stomach it when I talked to him with his son on FaceTime. It was very hard for me to stomach that. You know what I mean? It's just, that's a very tragic thing for me, and it's very hard to see a person in that state that you knew from way before they were like this. Like, it's just hard for me to do that.
Yeah, we've interviewed his son. His son's fighting now. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Julian Jackson trained his son, which is crazy.
I know. That's why I met him.
That's how. Did you ever move around with Julian Jackson?
No.
So is there anybody really well known that stands out that you actually sparred?
No. Sugar Ray Leonard.
Oh, you sparred Sugar Ray Leonard?
Sugar when I was 17, I think 17 or 18. Yes, it was very interesting. It was something special. It was something special to see.
Woo. And what do you remember from that? Like what stood out?
I just remember he hit me with one good hook that stood out because his hook was still devastating. He was fast as hell. So that surprised me that he was still so fast. He was about 30, 31, I think. And he was fast as hell still. He hit with, like I said, one good hook. But for the most part, I kind of dominated the whole sparring session, except that one hook. So it surprised me that I was that good at that age. You know what I mean? But I kind of really dominated the whole sparring session with the exception of one hook. He didn't knock me down. It was a good hook, though.
Did anybody record that?
Yeah, somebody got it recorded.
Have you seen the tape?
Not lately. I saw it when I was a kid. Yeah, I thought I was young. Yes.
Oh man, you should get that. That's dope.
I don't have it yet, but it was something spectacular to see. You know.
So he was the only well-known fighter that you actually moved around with that you could think of?
Well, him. No, I sparred with a guy named Lindell Holmes, who's a former IBF super middleweight champion.
I remember him.
Me and Lindell Holmes had a lot around. Yeah, about it.
That's about it. And then when you were preparing to fight Ruiz, who'd you spar at heavyweight?
David Azan.
Oh.
I got a lot of rounds. Sparred. I don't have it on tape. I'm on tape with John Scully as an amateur. I sparred with Scully a lot, and as a pro.
Yep.
And I sparred with Lamar Park a lot as an amateur. So those were some really good sparring sessions too. But they got some of those John Scully ones on tape. I seen them online before, but me and John had a lot of rounds sparring. Yeah. And me and Lamar Park had quite a few rounds sparring too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually sparred Gerald. I sparred Gerald. Yeah.
Who?
Gerald McClellan.
Oh, you did spar McClellan?
Yeah, I sparred him once. Yeah, I sparred him once the same time I sparred with Sugar Ray Leonard because me, him, and Lamar Parks, all three of us sparred with Sugar Ray Leonard that same day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been fun, huh?
Yeah, it was fun as I don't know what.
Were you in awe? Were you like taken back at that point, or were you not the biggest Sugar Ray fan?
No, I was a big Sugar Ray fan. I was in awe of all of it because his hook was so fast. I was like, okay, that's why he's Sugar Ray. Okay, I got you. But I still kept doing my thing. But I was like, all right, I see where you at. Okay. It was interesting for me, you know?
Yeah, wow. So I know you watch current boxing. Who are your top 5 current guys right now?
Of course, you know I like Bud Crawford. I like Fury. I'm always going to be a Lomachenko fan. I really like Boots Enos. And I really do like Boots too. So it's quite a few of them out there I like, you know. But those are probably my top 5 right now.
Yeah, Boots. Do you think Boots is ready now to step up against Crawford or Spence?
Well, it ain't but one way to find out. I mean, he got to go, you know what I mean? So he got to, at some point, he got to take that chance. And we don't know yet, but it ain't one way to find out. So at some point, you got to take them walkers off and go, you know? And he trying because he asking for all of them. So he ready to make that move. It's a matter of time for somebody to give him a shot. If they don't hurry up and fight, then one of them should fight him because I think that's the next best move.
Well, I mean, it doesn't look like they're going to fight anytime soon, right, Spence and Crawford?
No.
It doesn't. And do you think we're ever going to see that fight? Because it's starting to feel like it might not happen.
I don't know. It all depends.
It all depends on what. I'm sorry.
All depends on what happens. But see, here go the bad thing people don't understand. If the big fight that people want to see don't happen soon, one of the guys usually end up getting beat. So if it don't happen soon, somebody eventually will get beat, and we'll never see it. Just like how Joshua and Wilder kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and then look what happened. Both of them got beat. You feel me? So that's why you go ahead and take advantage of fights while it happens, because time don't wait for nobody. You know, it waited for Floyd and Pacquiao, but that was all they waited for. And it really didn't wait for that fight because Pacquiao got beat before. So time don't wait for nobody. So it needs to happen. It should happen
when it happens, yeah. Hopefully it'll happen soon. This is kind of off the topic, but I had a conversation recently, right? And somebody said about you that, once you got a little older and your speed slowed down, that you didn't have the fundamentals, and which drove me crazy. Like, people think that just because you did things so unusually that you didn't have good fundamentals, but your fundamentals were solid. Like, you really worked on your fundamentals, didn't you?
like I said, I got more. Feel me? So they don't know that. If somebody tell you that I didn't have fundamentals, if they tell you that they thought I didn't have fundamentals, you look at that person and say that's what you call a complete idiot. Because if you don't understand what I understand about boxing, you understand? I mean, I dominated at the Olympic level, dominated at the JO level, I dominated at the national level and open. I dominated, like I said, the Olympic level, then I dominated at the professional level. And I dominated for over a decade. How can you become the fighter of the decade with no freaking fundamentals? Are you freaking kidding me? So,
I agree. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think that because you were unorthodox, people thought that all you relied on was just your speed. But that's not true at all, because you still got to place the punches. You know what I mean? You still got to know what you're doing. You got to set them up. They don't just land.
I had a lot of knockouts just relying on speed. Yeah. Hey, man, I enjoyed talking to you guys, man. Y'all take care of yourself. I'm cool. I don't like to get into it. So thank you for having me on here, man. Thank you again, Jeremy. I am talking to you guys.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it,
y'all
Roy. We'll talk again.
Okay, I appreciate y'all, man.
Peace.
All right, brother.